How often have you had a conversation where someone's words say one thing, but their tone and body language tell a different story? For example, you might ask a friend if they're okay after a long day. They may say, "I'm fine," but their slumped posture and lack of eye contact suggest they're feeling overwhelmed or upset. Well, that is what I am going to be discussing in this video essay. WALL-E was released in 2008 by Pixar. It has a 95% on the tomato meter, which is incredible. WALL-E, short for Waste Allocation Load Lift to Earth class, is the sole remaining robot on Earth. Day after day, he tirelessly cleans the planet, gathering and compressing garbage. Over centuries, he has developed a personality, along with a longing for companionship. This changes when he encounters Eve, and WALL-E embarks on a journey across the galaxy to be with her. In Mehrabian's 73855 communication model, it suggests that when conveying feelings and attitudes in spoken communication, 7% of the meaning comes from the words themselves, 38% is derived from tone of voice, and 55% is communicated through body language, particularly facial expressions. A. Mehrabian states, "It is more than what you say, it is about how you say it." And this is shown a lot in WALL-E. The only words spoken between WALL-E and Eve are directive and their names.
Directive. 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 Classified.
WALL-E.
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 Eve.
Eve.
Eve. Eve.
Eva.
Apart from that, you don't hear them speak. They also don't have mouths. This means that their body language is very important to convey to the audience how they are feeling and what their personalities are. These next 4 sections are evidenced from a website called Very Well Mind. Section 1, Eyes. Someone's eyes can tell you a lot. For example, if they are interested or engaged in a conversation, if they are uncomfortable or if they are attracted to you. A quote from Samuel Richardson, "Where words are restrained, the eyes often talk a great deal." WALL-E and Eve have particular eye movements. WALL-E's eyes are in the shape of binoculars. They turn downwards when he is worried, sad, or even interested. Otherwise, they are generally in a neutral position. Eve's eyes are much more expressive. They can become many different shapes so she can convey many more emotions, unlike WALL-E. He needs to express his emotions a lot more through gestures or his posture, and so on. Section 2, Gestures. Gestures can be some of the most obvious and direct body language signals. Some common examples are waving, putting a thumbs up, or pointing at something. WALL-E is a very gentle robot. Even though his job is to compact and trash items, he still takes great care in placing the block of trash neatly in a stack. WALL-E is also very much longing for a companionship. When he is in his home, he puts on a film that shows a couple who are holding hands. WALL-E does that action with both of his hands, which shows his need to feel that connection with another robot. When he meets Eve, he tries to replicate this, but at that point Eve isn't responding because of her directive. When we get to the end of the film, WALL-E had been crushed on the ship and Eve went to go fix him. His eyes don't turn and he is quite rigid, robotic. Eve tries to show that she cares for him by holding his hand, but he doesn't hold her hand back to reciprocate. A quote from Anais Nin, "Each contact with a human being is so rare, so precious, one should preserve it." Section 3, Posture. Posture can show a huge amount of information about how a person is feeling or about their characteristics. A quote from the Hoffman process, "What the mind suppresses, the body expresses." Some examples are if a person is sitting up, it may indicate that they are paying attention and are focused. If they are sat hunched, it may indicate that they are bored or indifferent. A lot of the time in the film you see Wally having quite a closed posture. As soon as something scares him, is new or unknown, he hides himself and curls up. This makes him look inferior and weak, but this can also be associated with him being gentle and kind. Eve has a much more open posture, which shows confidence and maybe a higher power status. Wally and Eve's personalities clash together nicely. Opposites attract. Section 4. Personal space. Body movements and facial expressions can convey a lot already, but even personal space can show us how someone is feeling about something or someone. Throughout the film, Wally and Eve's personal space gets smaller and smaller. At the beginning when they meet, they are quite separate as they have only just met, and as time goes on, they start to break these boundaries as they get to know one another. At the end of the film, when Wally has been fixed by Eve, she finally breaks all her personal boundaries and hugs him and holds his hand, something we have all been anticipating for. This shows her comfort and happiness to be with him.
That love's about, and we're time runs out.
A quote from Jojo Moyes. I thought, briefly, that I would never feel as intensely connected to the world, to another human being, as I did in that moment. As a result of this study, I have discovered that body language has such an important part in how we interact with one another and how we interpret certain situations. Researching into and making this investigation has helped me with my FMP. For my FMP, I am planning on creating a poster, business cards, and a commercial about the robot Wally. This means I need to create the character, and I haven't ever done proper character design before. Understanding the body language should hopefully make it easier for me to animate him and to make sure I get his character across properly.